Let's talk about action steps. So one of the most common questions or struggles that I hear from you all the time is, I know what I want my goal to be, but I can't come up with action step ideas for it. I hear it all the time. And I know that in some world you kind of wish that somebody could just hand you the plan, right? The steps that you need to take from A to Z to work on your goal. And I wish I could give that to you, but the truth is that goals are so unique and so personal that I can't just hand you the plan and what to work on, but I can give you all the things that I know in terms of helping you come up with the action steps for your goals. And we have done action step idea series in the past. I've done them twice before, and both times I set it up by type of goal. So the very first time that we did it, those videos are a little bit all over the place. I think they're still helpful, but they're a little bit all over the place. And there were 6 different goal categories. I shared some ideas, some questions, some books, and then just general tips about coming up with action step ideas over the course of those videos. Then last year, I did a series where it's still split up by goals, but I did like really specific action steps. I asked you to share yours and I combined them all and shared them. I think those videos are still incredibly helpful, especially if you have a one of those specific goals. Like if your goal falls into one of those categories easily, I think that those videos are super helpful for you to go back and review. The categories, by the way, were finance, health, home, and personal. This time, so when I ask for video idea recommendations, I always get, can you do that again? Can you do another action step series? And I was like, I hemmed and hawed because I'm like, I don't know how to make it different. I don't know how to do it differently so that it's still helpful and I'm not just repeating myself over and over again. Well, I ultimately decided that the best way to do that is that instead of splitting it up by type of goal, we are splitting it up by type of action steps. So over the course of February, we are going to be talking about action steps for all of February on all the lives. This week, we're talking about one-time action steps. Next week will be daily or weekly, then daily. And then the very last week of February will be the oh so popular question, how do I know whether it's a goal action step or something that belongs on a to-do list? So that is how we're going to be focusing on things for the next month, for the month of February. Before we start though, before we get into it, I want to remind you that you do not need every type of action step for every type of goal. What I don't want you to do is think that if you don't have one-time, weekly, and daily steps for your goals, that it's not going to work and you're not going to be successful. That's not how this works. There are going to be some goals, and you will see it because I'm including examples in these as well, just grouped again by one-time, weekly, daily. And you will see that there are goals that lean a lot heavier on a different category of action step. So do not feel like every goal needs every type of action step. If you cannot come up with a weekly action step for whatever your goal is, that's fine. That doesn't mean that it's a bad goal. It doesn't mean that you're going to fail at it. It's just that goal doesn't come with any weekly action steps, and that's okay. Okay. Just wanted to make sure that you didn't forget that. So, okay. So let's start. What is a one-time action step? Y'all, this is going to sound so silly, but it's exactly like it sounds. A one-time step are the things that you just do one time, that it's not recurring. It's not something that you're trying to do every week. It's not something that you're trying to do every day. It's a step that you're going to write down and you're going to do it one time and you're going to then just be able to check it off. That is a one-time step, right? So here are mine that you've seen before. So right, finish unpacking. That's a pretty big one-time step, but that is I'm going to check it off. Create a project list for our house, right? It's a one-time step. Create a vision board. Do Lila's birthday shadow box. Get a thing of fresh flowers, use our fireplace, and have a cozy movie night, right? Those are one-time steps. Some of them are obviously bigger than others. We're going to talk about size in a little bit, but those are all things that you do once, and then when you're done, you check it off. So these types of steps make a lot of sense for chronological goals or goals that you are doing a set number of steps in a certain order. So for example, when you're working on creating a YouTube channel, right? There are steps that you go to get a video up on a YouTube channel. Each of those pieces make really good one-time steps. The the thing to remember is that there is no right or wrong in terms of like how big or small you make these steps. I'm getting ahead of myself a little bit. That's why I hesitated. I'm getting ahead of myself because I have a whole section on size later on. So it also makes sense, which is all of my goals, for progressive goals. By the way, if you need a refresher on goal breakdowns, I categorize goals in 4 different ways: chronological, numerical, progressive, and sectional. If you need a refresher on that, I will link the videos that talk about that down below on the different types of breakdowns. But for progressive goals, these are goals that don't have a finite end state. So these are goals that you are just picking action steps to get you closer to that end state that you have defined, right? We talked at the very beginning of the year about defining our goals. You get clear on what that goal means to you. You define that goal, and each action step is just getting you closer to whatever that end state looks like for you. One-time steps make a lot of sense for those. I mean, frankly, that's what a lot of mine are, right? These are getting me closer to that progressive end state of spending more time creatively, getting our house in good shape, enjoying the winter time. And then, I mean, I crossed off the working out one, but you know what I mean? Now, your one-time step could be a further breakdown of a quarterly or an annual goal, right? Let's say that you set an annual goal of reading 24 books or a quarterly goal of reading 6 books a quarter. You could break that down. Your one-time step could be 2 books a month. And I know this might feel a little counterintuitive because you're like, wait, that's technically something that's recurring, right? It's something I'm going to do every single month. Yes. A one-time step could be recurring in terms of a monthly standpoint, but it doesn't have to be. And so I want you, if that is a block, like gives you a block, then I want you to let that go. Okay, let's talk about the size. So ideally, the size of these are something that you would put into your planner. And this is one of those scenarios where I'm going to say, do as I say, maybe not as I do, because I mean, you saw mine. The unpacking, like just unpacking, finishing unpacking is not going in my planner, obviously. If you find yourself struggling with completing your one-time steps, this is a good rule to stick to. I have been doing this for so many years at this point that I know that if I put too big of a one-time step, I know how to manage that. If you feel like you struggle with the one-time section in your goal planner, make them smaller. Put them in whatever size makes sense that you would put it into your planner. And this size is going to differ based on who you are. Maybe you're somebody who has a good amount of free time. Time is not necessarily your biggest enemy. So you break it down into 1-hour chunks. Maybe you are somebody who really, you've got to break it down into like 15-minute chunks. I always say smaller is always better in this scenario, but ideally these are fitting into your planner. The other reason that you would make them smaller and something that would fit into your planner is if you are somebody who gets really unmotivated by things not being checked off. Y'all know me. If some of these things aren't checked off, it doesn't demotivate me. I don't look at this page and say, oh my gosh, look at all the blanks. I look at it and I see, look at all those check marks that I've already gotten for the month, right? I don't get demotivated by that. So it's easier for me to put bigger ones on my list. If they are too big though, like if what is on there would not go in your planner, you need to break them down elsewhere. And both packing and unpacking, I have made lists of all the things that I need to break down, or all the things I've broken down all the things that I needed to pack and then I need to unpack, right? I understand that when I put pack on my goal sheet in January, like that's a huge goal. I had a whole separate list that I was checking it off. So if it is too big that you wouldn't put it in your planner, you need to break it down in smaller somewhere else. Or, and I don't have this on a pop-up, but the or here, and I don't say this to confuse you. And if it is, then just like la for 1 second. You have it in another spot. What I mean by that is, let's say that you have declutter your closet in your one-time step. Because to you, it feels like I can reasonably get that done over the course of the month. But you know it's going to take you more time than what you're going to put in your planner. So declutter your closet hangs out in your one-time steps. Then you put in your weekly steps, spend 2 hours decluttering my closet every week. Then you put in your daily section, spend 30 minutes a day decluttering my closet. I know that sounds like a lot, y'all, but 30 minutes a day, missing one day adds up to 2 hours. That math did not math, Laken. I meant to do 20 minutes a day. That's where I meant to go with that math. 20 minutes a day. Missing a day, because you skip days. We all do. We all skip days. 6 days a week is how you get to 2 hours a week, right? So that is an example of if it is too big and you need to break it down somewhere else. Now, we are, like I said, still going to include examples. So I asked you to share your goal action step ideas from January and February. And if you didn't get around to it, no big deal. We have plenty of examples. But reminder that these examples are for inspiration. These are not like, these are the exact steps that you need to take. Your goals are likely different in some capacity from the person who submitted them. They are meant to just be inspiration or ideas. Now, I did still break them down into sections or into categories because I thought that would still be helpful. But today I'm just going to share with you the one-time steps for each of them. So, for example, here are the one-time steps for finance, right? So an end of month budget review, setting up an account, creating a budget, setting up a budget planner, collecting tax information, creating a will, investing a certain amount each month, paying off a certain amount of debt, paying off a certain percentage of debt, selling a house, figure out recurring subscriptions, creating some sort of tracker, setting up auto deductions, using your bonus or tax return for something specific. You can always save this and come back and screenshot it later. But these are just examples. These are one-time steps related to finance goals. All right. Goal category 2, home. You can see there's a lot more here. Right there, home actually, I feel like had a lot in all the categories. Like there's a lot of things you could do in every category where you'll see that there are some just have more or less than others, right? So here are some home one-time step ideas. Declutter one room, replace a specific item, order a specific item. Those are pretty similar. Organize an area. And these are examples from you. The only thing I did was make some of them more generic, right? If somebody said like declutter closet, I changed it to one room declutter to make it a little bit more general, just to give you ideas. Organize a specific area, break down the areas. I love a one-time step could always be to break things down further. Tackle one area at a time in 15-minute segments. That's going similar to that example that I gave before. Plan a cleaning routine, deep clean a room, put house on the market, create vision boards for the house. I love that. Declutter for an hour, hang something, monthly deep clean, book a contractor, sell specific things, research resell sites, buy certain storage bins, hire someone for test grab it for help with something, or drop off donations. You can see these are not, I feel like this sometimes I'm like, it doesn't have to be that complicated, right? We can keep it simple. It's literally, and that's why the last week is like the difference between a to-do list item and a goal, because for some of us, it's like, well, isn't hiring the contractor, like that's a to-do list item? Like it is. But if you have a goal related to your home, it's also a goal step. Okay. There's no right or wrong on where it lives. Next category is health or weight loss. So setting up a health planner, buying a walking pad, purchasing a smart scale, attend Pilates intro classes, create a list of recipes to try, schedule appointments, take a before picture, complete a fitness challenge, track certain metrics, meet with a dietitian, research specific meals, clean fridge and pantry. You'll notice there are way less on this one. This is the kind of goal that lends itself way more to weekly or daily. You'll see the weekly and daily for this category are so much longer than the one-time steps. And truthfully, with the exception of the one that I took away, about finishing the program, I typically don't have health goals in the one-time step section. All right. The last category is personal. This one is just kind of a catch-all for any ideas that anybody gave me that were not related to those first 3 categories. So we have update LinkedIn profile. This is related to a job type of goal, organize craft supplies, read a certain number of books, register for a class, text 3 friends, set up 1 lunch, send birthday cards, have a craft day. I love that. Complete an online course, update website and logo, schedule college visits, book hotels, book flights, plan a friend dinner, read a specific book, create a study plan, design new routines, find a therapist, sign up for lessons, and read 1 nonfiction book. So Those, again, are just examples. They are just ideas to get your gears turning, to help you try to think of some ideas. So if you feel like this is something you still struggle with, I want you to comment below with what goal it is. What goal do you feel like you can't come up with one-time steps? And let's brainstorm and let's think about what they could be for you.